This is the 8th episode of the Work in Progress series. I'm going to play Daha and I'm going to talk about what the piece taught me. So I filmed this on my phone and I hadn't meant it to be a long video, so the framing isn't very good. I hadn't really prepared what I was going to say. It's all very spontaneous, all very raw. My English isn't very fluid, but the content is there and I wanted to keep it and I hope you enjoy it. So here it is. Okay, time to talk about Daha. I'd planned to script this bit a little more, but I'm realizing I'll never do it because I'm trying to be too thorough about it, and the spontaneity gets lost in a way. So I've scribbled a few points, and basically today I'd like to share 3 things that I've learned while learning Daha for months now. I don't even remember when my last video, my work in progress video about Daha was. Anyway, it's been very frustrating. It hasn't been going very well, and I've learned I've kept at least 3 things that could come in handy if, like me, you're struggling with this piece. The first one is about accepting defeat. Yes, it's not about being pessimistic, it's not about dropping it, or in a way, yes, it is about dropping it. It's about telling yourself, okay, this is not going well, and it's okay that it's not going well, and maybe it's even okay to stop practicing it for a while, actually to completely stop practicing it and sitting with it. And come what may, even if it doesn't sound right, even if you're judging yourself, even if you're not happy, well, fighting it doesn't work. So what you gonna do? Are you gonna just abandon? And that's been something I've been going through for several weeks, like taking it, sitting with it getting very frustrating, dropping, stopping to play it for a while, sometimes spending all the way 3 days without playing Shakuhachi. For me, it's huge. I normally play Shakuhachi every single day, and stopping for several days is a terrible thing. I think it was part of the process. I had to accept defeat. I had to accept that it was just not going to work, whatever I tried, and that I had to embrace the not working, which leads me to my second point, which was about dropping my misconceptions. I had facial muscle pain. I really can't play for more than 20 minutes in a row. My face gets all cramped. You can see it when I play. My face is not very relaxed. And I've tried everything I've asked. I've done all sorts of movements to try. It's not quite yoga for the face, but it's kind of working the jaw to relax the muscles. I've tried playing on my back. I've tried everything I could think of. I've been browsing the web, I've been asking around, nothing worked. And I thought, well, let it be painful, and let's stop when it gets too painful. And so my practices will last 15 or 20 minutes, and when it gets painful, I stop, and I will come back more often to it. But I can't force it because it doesn't work. And as for my high notes, I'm still having issues with them. If I'm in a bad day, in a bad mood, if I'm worried about something, no high note will come out of my flute. I've come to accept it. I've stopped believing that I was supposed to produce a good sound and something that sounded beautiful to others at the point where I am in my learning. I've been learning for, I don't know, a year and a half. Don't remember, honestly, I don't care. But there's this little voice in your head that says things like, now you should be able to play in front of an audience and they should find it pretty. Why don't you find it pretty? Why doesn't it sound like that ideal image you've built in your head of how things should go? And I've had to be very honest about it and think, ain't gonna happen. Am I gonna stop sharing? Do I need to lose my enthusiasm because of it? And the answer was no. Even if I suck at playing, I'm just as happy. So I'm just gonna drop the idea that my music has to sound a certain way, and I'm just gonna play, and I'm gonna see what happens. And all by magic, believe it or not, but the sound became less cramped, less tight, and it started to sound a little bit better. You hear it in the recording here. Compared to the first time I recorded Daha, something has been released. And that's what I keep and I consider as an improvement. To me, it's growth, at least. Which leads me to the third point, about the piece itself. I actually really like the modern version of Daha, and then this old style version, I got stuck with it because I felt it was repetitive and I couldn't say anything through it. So it just felt like repeating a drill. I had to actually be very strict with myself and think, just imagine that this is the one and only piece that you know. That's the only piece you can play. That's the only piece you are allowed to play. It's a game. This is the soundtrack of your life. This is the only sequence of notes you are allowed to produce to express something about what's inside. Or maybe it's the only sound that you're allowed to produce, regardless of how you feel, regardless of if you want to express something or not. If you want to make sound, that's the sound you're going to make. What's going to happen if you have no choice anymore? And so I started to, for one thing, stop trying to pour things into the flute, but just let things happen, more like being a conduit or something. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but once you stop trying and once you stop having expectations, basically, interesting stuff starts to happen. And that would sum up the third point. I think if you're stuck, stop having expectations about this piece. That's the cat feeder. I'll quickly wrap up because now the cats are eating and the noise won't stop. I have 3 cats. Just don't drop a piece because you feel it, you have no affinities with it. Just see what happens when you sit with it and you befriend it. Because if you make the effort to go past appearances and past your own expectations, there's something to discover. And that's what I want to share today. So I hope it's going to help you on your journey. And I'll see you soon for more music and more tidbits about Shakuhachi and Hito Yogiri. Bye!